All right. So welcome to our bonus Q&A. So I want to know, for the ones that have showed up here right now, what are you feeling? What's happened in the last 3 days for you? What breakthroughs have you had? And especially any questions that I can actually help answer here live. So this is your once in a lifetime opportunity to really ask anything that you want to know on how to implement these things into your reality. So again, if you want to come off mute, you can do that, or you can put it in the chat. No. I want to know what's been coming up for you guys. I've been also receiving a lot of conversations in my DMs over the last 24 hours. It's been some beautiful conversations going on with a lot of people that have gone through this challenge already. Hi, Carly. Carly's here. I was just talking to Carly in the DMs a little earlier. Angel says, hey, it's been a wonderful 3 days. First, thank you so much. You're so welcome, Angel. So again, Carly, since you just joined, we were just talking about this is really an opportunity for you all to ask any questions that you have, share any breakthroughs, any manifestations, anything that's really happened in the last 3 days after taking this challenge. I am still sitting in letting go, but feeling more lifted and not so doubtful. That's beautiful, Tamatha. So remember, one of the biggest things that I really wanted you guys to understand yesterday was to be patient and allow this journey to be a graceful ease thing to flow through, right? So again, remember, we're reprogramming and shifting and letting go of things that have been in our subconscious for years, right? For as long as we've lived till this moment. And so as we begin to align more to our ideal and higher version of self, give yourself grace and ease as you let these things go. And also, when you let them go too, remind yourself, even when it's difficult, remind yourself, I am doing this for my highest good. I am doing this because I want to achieve this specific goal. Hi, Maria. I am doing this because XYZ, right? Giving your subconscious and your mind that reminder of, why am I even doing this? Why am I letting this go? Why am I here? Right? So that's what I want you to keep in mind. So, any other questions? Anything else that's coming up? Carly says, I have been doing a lot of work on letting go and getting crystal clear. My biggest challenge is that I feel stuck because I have a general idea of what I want, but nothing that is concrete. Yeah. So, Carly, you're going to want to get more crystal clear. And I know you grabbed the manifestation power vault last night, and I'm so happy for you. So when you go through that, you'll also get another a deeper understanding on, okay, how do I specifically get crystal clear? You're going to notice that every single masterclass inside that vault, that's the number one thing I say in the beginning of like almost every single class, how to really get that clarity. So to help you do that, and to make it a little bit easier, go through each area of your life, right? So start with maybe career, then do personal development, then maybe do your finances, then do your health. So like different areas, and go through each of the area and think about, okay, in 2024, what do I want to achieve in this specific area of my life? So we'll go to career, and then you'll say, all right, this is my goal for 2024. And then you get even more clear on that details. So if you're in career, you said, I want a job promotion, or I want to launch this business, or I want to attract more clients, or I want this new job, whatever it is, get more clear. If it's a new job, what type of job do you want? And if you're like, I don't know what type of job, but I know what I want to feel. I know I want to be less stressed. I know I don't want to feel burnout anymore. I know I don't want that boss who keeps nagging in my ear. Whatever it is, get clear. Be like, I know I don't want these things, but this is what I want. And we're focusing on what you want. So those feelings, maybe even some people even think about, oh, I'm tired of commuting an hour to work. I don't want to do this anymore. So I realize I actually want a remote job, right? So really focusing on those things. So apply the same method to every area. You go through your personal development. Oh, in 2024, I want to take care of myself more. I want to do self-care routines like my skincare in the morning and skincare at night, and make sure I'm taking care of my gut health, or whatever, right? So just like that, go through each of these things, and it's going to allow you to make it more easier. Because when we're looking at it like from the top, where we're like, oh, what is everything that I want to achieve in the upcoming year and the years to come, it kind of gets overwhelming. So to allow it to be a little bit easier, just do it section by section. Let me know if that's landing and if that helps. Thank you for those tips. You're welcome. I understand everything you've taught, but there is an element of what if. So, what if I don't get the job or the internship? And also, how does one push oneself to take action? The procrastination is high. I also feel I overplan a lot. Okay, Angel, let's take this apart, right? So, the first part, the what if. So, this is huge. And this is something, again, this goes back to step number 3 that we did yesterday, surrender. So, remember when I started teaching you all about how to surrender, the first thing I said, like, this is the hardest part, and this is the part where people generally give up, right? People make it through step 1, they get so clear, they make it to step 2, they do all the things to release whatever, and then they get to step 3 and they're having a tough time to let go. So when these what if scenarios come into your mind, this is an excellent time to understand that you're being tested to see if your subconscious is actually truly aligned to what you believe to be true. So if you're questioning, right, if you're in a place where you're like, I just applied to this job, I don't know if this is for me, I don't know if I'm going to get it, I just did the interview, or whatever it may be, right? If you're constantly questioning, then you're still coming from a place of lack. Remember, we talked about that? You're still operating from a place of, I don't have it, or I need this, or I want this. So you're coming from a place of lack. So instead, begin to ask yourself, okay, well, what if it actually does work out? What if I actually get that email that says, congratulations, you're in? What if I actually get that email that's now offering more money than I thought I was going to be offered to begin with? What if this job is actually everything I ever wanted? Right? Why not switch those what ifs to what if it all works out? What if I do get that internship? Right? And so the other part of your question, how does one push oneself to take action? So as you're reframing these in your mind, that inner dialogue that's going on in your mind consciously, and you make those shifts, now you're making those shifts subconsciously too, right? In part 1 of my manifestation method, which is clarity, you got clear on who you would be when you have this job, who you would be when you have this internship. And so if you got so clear on that, that means you already know what actions you have to take. So for example, if that version of you wakes up confident every day and starts their day in a certain way because this is what they have to do for this job, they wake up excited because they already know they have this job. They wake up excited because they love what they're doing, right? Then that's what you need to begin doing now. Even if you're not at that job already, you need to start waking up and tapping into those feelings and those actionable steps now. Let me know if this is making sense to you, right? I would need specific examples from your life and job to give you more specific examples for you. But in general, that's what we're doing, right? We're getting so clear in step 1 that by the time we're in step 3 and we're surrendering to the outcome of what we desire, we already know exactly how I need to show up every day to allow my subconscious and the universe to know that I already believe I have this and this is in my reality. Or I'm already so grateful for where I'm at that I know that what's coming for me is even better than I can imagine. Right? It's all about bringing ourselves to this present moment, being grateful. Remember, that's one of the things we talked about. And being grateful and grounded in the present is what's going to allow you to let go of the what if scenarios about the future. Because those what if scenarios are about the future, right? And sometimes when we're doubting it, it's related from our past, right? We'll go back to our past and be like, well, remember that one time when whatever didn't work out. Remember that one time I interviewed and it didn't work out. Remember that one time when I applied here and it didn't work out. So either we're stuck in the past and we're bringing that into our present moment, or we're so worried and anxious about the future, which we're also bringing into the present moment. So, hi, Lana. So, what it's about is coming back to the here and now, exactly where your manifestations reside. Yeah, I'm currently applying and giving interviews, but nothing is landing, and it's so disheartening. I totally understand, Angel. And when these things are happening, I want you to understand. So let me give you an example with this. So this was years ago. So when I graduated from undergrad, again, when did I graduate? 2015. So when I graduated from undergrad, again, my goal was I'm going to get into medical school. I'm going to be applying to medical schools after this. What I decided to do in between then, I was like, you know what? I want to actually get my master's. And that's when I had applied to Harvard and I got into Harvard to do my master's in biology. So in between this time, there was like a 6-month gap period between then and Harvard. And during those 6 month period, I thought, okay, I'm still gonna get jobs in the medical field so that I can continue, get my foot in the door and continue doing all that stuff. So I applied to one of the top hospitals in New York City, right? Um, it's a cancer hospital, and I was like, okay, I want to be here, whatever. I was really, really like, I prayed for this job. Like I literally cried in prayer because I was like, I really want this job. It's gonna like be everything I've ever wanted, whatever. I go to the interview. I actually got interviewed by three different, I can't, that interview process was so long. I went through three different levels of interviews in one day. Like literally, I was all over the city in Manhattan interviewing with these people. And so as I was going from interview to interview, I'm like, oh my God, they definitely love me because why are they making me interview so many times? So three interviews, they give me an entire tour of the whole hospital. I meet so many people. So I'm like, oh my God, they love me. They're gonna hire me. This is it. I go home, I tell my mom and my dad, like the interview was freaking phenomenal. And then I don't get the job. When I didn't get that job, I was like hysterically crying because I was like, first of all, why did I go through all of that for them to just reject me? Second of all, I was like, oh my goodness, like at this moment in time, I've applied to so many hospitals and I'm just not getting the jobs that I want. I was getting other jobs, but I'm like, no, I really want to wait for this specific job, this specific hospital. I want to work here. And it wasn't happening. 3 months after that, I got my acceptance letter to Harvard. So at that moment in time when I was crying hysterically, I did not know that, Sumaya, you're not even going to live in New York City for the next 5 years. You're about to pack your bags and move to Boston. I did not know that. So what I want you to take away from this story is understanding that oftentimes when things aren't working out for us, when we're getting rejected by a person, by a career, by whatever, we begin to, spiral into this whole like, oh my God, nothing's working out for me. Like, I'm so upset. One thing for sure, I want you to feel through the emotions of whatever comes up, right? Whether you're angry, whether you're frustrated, whether you're jealous of the one that actually got the job, whatever, feel it through. But once you're done feeling it through, stop spiraling and staying stuck in a place that's going to block you from the blessing that's trying to come to you. Now, I always imagine, right? I always go back and I think about if that time when I was rejected from that hospital in New York City and didn't get that job in 2015 after I came back from my undergrad, and I just spiraled and I stayed in that anger and jealousy and just believing that I'm not worthy of a job that I can do so good at, or I'm not worthy for the things that I want, or I don't deserve these big, positions, whatever. I would have never I probably wouldn't have opened up to the opportunity to even get into Harvard. I probably wouldn't have opened up for my opportunity to eventually work at some of the top hospitals in the East Coast in Boston. So although I didn't get that job in New York City at that hospital, I got one, actually multiple, in those 5 years that I lived in Boston. I wouldn't have opened myself up to all those opportunities if I stayed stuck in a place of, this is so hard, this is so disheartening, these things aren't working for me, whatever. And I want to take you back also at that time, that Samaya was really not aware of like energy and mindset work and what the subconscious does and how I even can be the co-creator of my reality. I wish I knew then because then that Samaya would have gone through that whole phase effortlessly. I wouldn't have been frustrated. I wouldn't have been crying every night trying to ask God, like, what's my next move? Where are you headed? Where am I headed? Right? What's my life after college? I wouldn't have been in that place. And that's why I'm teaching you all these things today, right? The things that I have learned over all these 5 years of me getting to where I am today. Now, when things don't work out for me, I'm like, okay, if I'm upset about it, I'm like, all right, it didn't work out. I'll cry, I'll do whatever. And then I'm like, I am so excited for what's coming my way. Because time and time and time and time again, every single time something didn't work out for me, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a career goal, whether that's something I personally wanted for myself, whether that's the meal that I really wanted and the restaurant was closed on that Monday out of all Mondays, I know that everything is always working out for me in my highest good, even when that challenge is so, so hard at that given moment in time. I know for a fact that things are always working out for me and my highest good. So I want you to keep reminding yourself that, especially in those times when you want to give up, especially in those times when you're like, everything is hitting the fan, nothing is going the way I want it to go, everything is falling apart, especially during those moments in time in your life. That's when you need to remind yourself this the most, that everything is always working out for me and my highest good. If this door is closing, I can't wait for the 10 other doors that are going to open up for me. When I was in Boston, there was I'm not even making this shit up. I swear to everything I love. There was this one hospital in Boston. It was Boston Medical Hospital, and three departments in that hospital, three freaking departments. It was pediatrics, the other one was OBGYN, and I forget the third one. I think it was, I can't remember the third one. Anyways, three different parts of that hospital were literally fighting over who wanted to hire me. Three different parts of that hospital fighting over who wanted to hire me, a full-time graduate student at Harvard, right? Meanwhile, a year and a half before that, I was in New York City crying in my house with my parents that, oh, I didn't get that job in 2015. You are not aware and open to the limitless opportunities that the world has for you when you're staying stuck in a place of, oh, nothing is working out for me. So please allow this experience of mine to really translate into your own life so that when those difficult times come up and when things aren't working out, you're like, you know what? I already know everything's always working out for me. And just as I understand, I tend to stay blocked and give up trying altogether. I will shift my perspective. Thank you so much. Exactly. Do not give up. Do not give up. If you truly are passionate and you truly want to make these changes in your life and you truly want 2024 to look different from all these other years and all these patterns that you've been repeating, do not give up on yourself. Because if you give up on yourself, everybody else will too. If you give up on yourself, the universe will give up on you too. Do not give up on yourself. It's funny you say this because I was talking to my father and he was telling me how our dreams should be limitless and there's so much out there. Sending love to your father. I'm a daddy's girl and I lost my dad to COVID in 2021. So that just got me a little emotional with your dad. But exactly what he said. Your dreams should be limitless. Okay. Maria says, you got me so excited over here. I see myself being offered multiple positions as a radio host on different stations. I'm going to have so much. You already have it. You already have all these options, Maria. I am celebrating you. Assad. Okay, this is one of my boys from high school. We love Assad. So from loves to Assad. How do you battle not giving up on yourself in years of burnout? Beautiful. So again, this is all a mindset shift, right? So if we're working on battling on, okay, I keep giving up on myself, let's also think about how much do I actually love myself, right? Why does loving myself have anything to do with giving up? When we love ourselves to, like, you know, an unconditional level where we trust ourselves, right? I'm talking about not the self-love where like, oh, I love myself and I get to buy this thing and oh, I'm gonna go get my nails done, or oh, I got my fresh haircut, or oh, I did what. No, I'm talking about the self-love where you wake up and you're like, I trust myself and my abilities. I trust me and what's going on in my life's journey. I trust the higher powers, whether that's God, the universe, whoever you believe in, right? And as you build this trust and as you love yourself, and as you build this confidence and courage within yourself with that sector of self-love, you also begin to shift your self-identity. So if you guys remember in these 3 days, I forgot which day it was, but I walked you through that pyramid of identity, right? When we're making these shifts, the greatest level of change is happening at an identity level. So at this identity level, when we love ourselves so unconditionally and we trust ourselves so much, we don't have it like if that thought of, oh, you need to give up right now crosses our mind, we're like, nope, why would I give up on me? I am my greatest gift. And if I am my greatest gift, why am I giving up on the greatest gift that the universe has given me? Why would I give up on this? And in the years of burnout and things that have led you to here today, I want you to come to a place of acceptance. So that's another thing I also went through in these 3 days. And I showed you guys the frequency scale of where we are when we're radiating certain frequencies, right? Like when we're radiating shame, guilt, jealousy, anxiety, burnout, whatever, they're at the low end of the vibrational scale. And then at the high end of the vibrational scale, we have love, we have peace, we have joy, all the good things, right? So when we're at this place of burnout and we're looking back at our life and we're looking at all the things that have led us to here today, and we're like, oh my God, all these years have been so tough. We need to come to a place of acceptance, right? That's the first place before you get up to the enlightenment and love and whatever. Your first step towards the higher frequency is acceptance. Why? Because we need to come to a place where we're accepting that, oh, this is everything that's happened to me till now. This is how I've thought about life and myself up until now. This is how I treated myself up until now. This is how I talked to myself up until now. And even though a lot of those things are things that I don't like and didn't make me feel good, I'm accepting that this is what has led me here today. And with that acceptance, I release anything that no longer serves me. I no longer want to spiral into that. I no longer want to dwell on that. I no longer want those things to hold me back. And now I am shifting to what I would rather feel instead. So again, to wrap up that answer to that question, we are beginning to love ourselves more deeply with that trust, confidence, and courage. And we are leveling up to a place of acceptance where we're accepting all the past versions of ourselves and the past things that have happened to us. And then we are scaling up and raising our vibration to a place where we'd rather feel instead, right? So if we don't want to be burnt out, we want to be calm, we want to be at ease, we want to be at peace, we're moving to those things instead. Assad, let me know if that helps you. Sandy, on the subject of identity, I always had a victim mentality because of childhood trauma. I now know, Assad gave me some claps. I now know I'm not a victim. The world is not out to get me. However, I still struggle to manifest my dream job, which I'm qualified for. Amazing. So let's break this apart. I suffer from victim mentality based on childhood trauma. Okay, one thing, Sandy, amazing that you recognize that. I now know I'm not a victim. Even more amazing. Claps for Sandy, everyone. However, I still struggle to manifest my dream job. Okay, so with your dream job, right? Maybe you already did this, right? You got very crystal clear on this is my dream job. You got clear on who you are now and who you will be when you have that dream job. Did you begin to embody that version of you that already has this dream job? Did you surrender to the outcome of, even if I don't have this dream job, I'm going to have a job that's going to make me still feel and show up exactly the same as I would if I had this dream job? Let me know if these are the things that you've already been doing and testing out with this, where you got so crystal clear on who you are and who you're not, so you identified the gaps, where you release the things and parts of you that do not align to the version of you that already has this dream job that you're qualified for, that you surrendered to the outcome of receiving this dream job because you know it's already yours or something better. And the last step where you have embodied the version of you that already has this dream job that you're qualified for. So you're already feeling the feelings of having it. You're already feeling the feelings of working in this. You already are showing up as the version of you who has this role. Let me know if those 4 things have already been done. So Ashley tells me that any other things in the chat too that are coming up for you guys. And I also want you to really, really, really hone in on, okay, what do I want to achieve in 2024? Because I want to start to talk about that as we move into that really quickly. Okay. How do you navigate things orbiting around you? I am going through a period where everything is stagnant. It's not rejection, but but it's not an acceptance, and I do not know how to navigate the stagnant waters. What am I supposed to learn in between? Okay. I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question correctly, but I'm going to repeat what I understood and let me know if I'm correct. So you're basically asking that you're in a stagnant phase where it's not rejection, but nothing is actually moving, right? You're just stuck in this place and you want to know how to move through this. Let me know if that is what you're asking me. Sandy says, oh, I see. I have surrendered instead. Whenever I apply for jobs, I get anxious. Okay. Also, I haven't been able to embody that version of me. My dream job is to be an HR practitioner. All right, Sandy. So, yeah, you just answered the part that you're missing, right? So, oftentimes we're doing a lot of the works and we kind of miss certain parts. And oftentimes those are the little tiny things that we need to shift in order for us to really embody this, right? So, Sandy, I really do urge you to get very clear on how will I feel when this HR practitioner job is already mine? When I wake up in the morning, if I wake up tomorrow morning and this is my job, I would wake up and do what? What are the thoughts that would go through my head? What would I wear as a HR practitioner? How would I feel as a HR practitioner? How would I go about life as a HR practitioner? What would actually change as a HR practitioner? Will I make more money? And if I do make more money, then what can I do with this with more money? Start thinking about that, right? You see how I'm getting so specific. It's not just I want this job and it'll be great. It's I want this job and I'll feel this. I want this job and I get more money and I get to do this with the more money. I got this job and this is how I dress. I got this job and these are the people I hang around with. I got this job and right, getting so clear on who you would be as a person, Sandy, right? Your identity when you have this job, right? So what happens when you get so clear on that, the way you surrender to this outcome of getting this specific position is now you're so attuned to, oh, these are the things I need to feel. This is how I need to show up. This is how I'm doing all these things, that whatever is meant to align to specifically to that will be yours, right? There's no force in the universe that can ever keep you apart from what is absolutely meant to be yours. But when we're feeling this stagnant energy, when we're not really seeing things moving, it's either a period of time to release, right? Lana, you were also in my DM, so I kind of know a little bit of what's might be going on, but you might want to see like, am I, as these things are stagnant, am I still spiraling back to, oh my God, where is it? Why isn't it happening for me? Why am I not marrying this person? Why is this person not proposing to me? Why am I not getting this job? Why am I not hearing back from those interviews? Why have I not, why, you know, really pay attention to your activities, right? Like if I am Sandy and I wake up every day and I'm like, oh my God, let me see my email. Let me see if they said anything to me. Oh my God, let me see. Like you're so anxious. You wake up anxious. You're so scared. You're like, but instead, what if you're like, it's already mine? Let me give you an example with interviews too, Sandy. The most recent experience I have with interviews, I mean, now I don't interview for jobs anymore, right? I'm working my dream job at my own business, right? So I don't interview for jobs anymore. But what I interviewed for last was getting into my master's program at Columbia University, where I graduate from in May of 2024, right? In less than 6 months. When I interviewed for that to get into that master's degree, that was the first interview of my entire life where I showed up as the most happiest, bubbly, like as me. Any other interview prior to that, I was always so anxious I could feel my palms sweating. I was always so anxious I could feel my chest pounding out of like my entire body. But how did I show up so calm and happy and confident when I did Columbia's interview? It's because I already said it in my mind when I applied that this will absolutely be mine if it's meant for me and my highest good. And if it's not, there's no force in this universe that can forcefully make this envision my reality. And so as I believed in that, I was like, I'm just going to show up as me. And I felt so good showing up as me because I'm like, if this is meant to be mine, they can't do, like, they will have to accept me. And I swear to you, I wish I can even, I'm going to actually ask him to email me this or something. The person who interviewed me, when I actually got in and I started my classes a couple of months later, his name's Jason. I ran into him and Jason was like, Sumaya, I interviewed so many students, especially this year, and the ones that have gotten accepted. Your interview, you blew it out the water. Your interview was one of the best ones. And he was like, I don't even think I'm allowed to say this. And I was like, yeah, I don't think you're allowed to tell me this, Jason. He was like, your interview was one of the best ones. I remember, I literally know exactly where we were standing in the room in Columbia's campus when he was telling me this, because I was staring at him and I didn't even tell him that. I was just like, oh, thank you. And I kind of whatever. But in that moment in time, I was like, it's because I showed up knowing that what's meant to be mine will always be mine. And if this is not meant to be mine, that I am totally okay with it, because I have seen time and time again that when one door closes for me, 10 or 30 other ones open up. And every single time, the other doors that open up has always been a better opportunity for me than I could have imagined. So as I was standing in that campus, already accepted as a student, hearing that this was one of the best interviews I've ever given, I was so enlightened and so happy. And so with this, I want you to remember, when you're showing up anxiously, when you're showing up scared, right? You're radiating that energy,
Yeah. No, you gotta let
you
me
know?
know. Yeah.
So with that being said, all right, let's see what's coming up in the chat. For example, my dream job interviews got halted. My partner and I are trying to move forward and we are riddled with miscommunication. Yes, exactly. I always follow into the old patterns of doubt and anxiety. Yes. So Lana, this is good, right? You're recognizing that I'm still spiraling into these old patterns. Day three, or no, it was day two. Day two was all about releasing the old patterns. Right. So this is what happens, guys. We go through these phases, right? We get to step 4, 3, whatever, and then we're already questioning, like, oh my God, it's not happening. Revisit the 4 phases. Be like, okay, which part am I not doing so effortlessly right now? Oh, right now, I'm still spiraling back to these old patterns that I should have released in step 2. And that's okay too. I want you guys to remember this too. This is something I'm going to make videos on for TikTok this week. A lot of people, I think, do not realize that through this manifestation and life journey, you're gonna continue to get tested, right? So down the line, Lana, right? You're married to your partner. Angel, down the line, you get your dream job. Sandy, down the line, you become the HR practitioner or whatever job that you want, right? Assad, down the line, you no longer feel the burnout or you're no longer battling, right? Maria, down the line, you have all these opportunities. So when these things are happening later on in life, 10, 20 years from now, life is still going to hand you challenges. And in those moments of challenges, you're going to be tested. Oh, is Lana gonna spiral back to those old patterns now that I just gave her a hard challenge? Is Angel to those hard things that she let go of 20 years ago? Is Assad gonna spiral back to the times where he felt so burned out? That's the moment in time you're being tested, and that's the moment in time you get to prove to yourself that, oh no, I'm no longer that version of me that I was 10, 20 years ago. I know what to do. I know that as soon as these thoughts that might be negative, that might have me spiraling, that might have me feel doubtful or anxious, I already know exactly what to do to shift this. I got so clear on who I am that I now know that when I get anxious, all I got to do is go out for a walk. I now know that when I get anxious or I spiral into doubt, all I got to do is drink a cup of water. I now know that when my mind is spiraling, I just got to grab a piece of paper and start jotting down all my thoughts so I can get it out of my head. I now know that after working with Sumaya, I've done hypnotherapy and I've done EFT, and all I got to do is use my own fingertips to tap on energy meridian points, and my entire nervous system is back into balance. Right. These are the things my clients, when they get so clear, they also have these tools with them that they can carry with them and do over and over again. Right. I actually was speaking to one of my other clients yesterday because she saw this 3-day challenge. She's like, Samaya, I can't believe you're doing this for free. Like, why aren't you selling this? And I'm like, girl, I'll bundle it up. It'll be a course soon, but I really wanted to give something for the holidays to everybody. And I love that I did this. But then she was also talking to me. She was like, yeah, she was talking about a situation she's gone through recently. And she was like, all I needed was a 5-minute tapping session. I did EFT just the way you taught me, and it brought me right back into balance. And then she talked to me about what she received. They get to walk away with these things and these tools, but they also know how to customize it to themselves, right? Every single tool that you're given, every single tool that you find on the internet or that you learn from a coach, not every single thing will align to you, but that's why when I work with individuals, I go individually personalized to what it is that works specifically for you, right? Carly says, this is where meditation has come into play for me. I use it when I am feeling those tough moments to clear my mind and reset. It's hard sometimes, but I feel so much better after. Beautiful, Carly. Meditation was definitely one of those things for me too. And I know meditation is sometimes hard for a lot of people. Like my clients every day, like every time they start with me, like after week 1, they're like, oh my God, Smile, like I tried meditating, but my mind wouldn't stop spiraling and I keep thinking all these thoughts and my mind keeps racing. And it's like, it's okay. One thing, you are not your thoughts, you are the observer of your thoughts. But as you practice meditation, you are able to come to a place where when those thoughts come through, you allow them to flow through without judgment and you come back to a place of peace. You come back to a place of groundedness into the present moment. Meditation is an excellent way to do that. I don't do meditation every day anymore because I switch it up with like EFT, hypnotherapy, whatever it is that I need for that day. But before, when I first started this journey, 2 years straight, I did meditation every single morning for 2 years straight, every single morning when I woke up. And it changed the trajectory of my life. Lana, how do you know that the lack of progress is not an indication that you have to walk away? Or is the right answer sitting there? Ooh, very, very good question. Okay, so she's basically asking when things get stagnant, and it's not a rejection, right? It's not a complete rejection, but it's stagnant. How do you know that do I still wait and make this happen, or do I walk away? The way you know, okay, I'm gonna give it an example as a relationship because I feel like that's what we're talking about here, Lana. Okay, when you're in whatever this relationship with someone, right? And you're like, okay, I don't know if this is moving towards the direction I wanted to, or if I should just pull myself away, call it quits, and move on to the next person, right? The way you know is by tuning back into yourself, right? I know I sound like a broken record at this point, but you go right back into that state of clarity. What does this mean? We're going to go right back into scanning the clarity of when I have this relationship with my ideal partner, what will I feel? What do I sound like? How do I show up every day? How do I speak to myself? How do I dress? Who am I surrounded? Like really painting this picture of this is how I will be and feel when I am in this romantic relationship that is the thing I've been manifesting my whole life. If you are not embodying this version of you now, that is your answer right there. Once you begin to do that, you will already automatically know, am I walking away from this or is this something that I can continue to stick around for? Your embodied version of self is going to pull you magnetically towards whichever direction is best for you. You will know if you really embody that version. I can already feel and tell through the conversations we've had, Lana, we aren't in that place of embodiment yet. We're still stuck in that place of, I don't know what to do. I'm doubting this process. I'm doubting myself. I'm confused. I feel anxious. I'm almost guaranteeing you that that embodied version of yourself is not anxious, is not doubting themselves, is not feeling stuck and stagnant. Our higher embodied version of self do not feel these things. And when they do, they know exactly how to shift it. When they do, they know exactly what to change in order to allow that to shift, right? So with all that being said, everyone that's in here, are you guys really ready for 2024? Are you guys really ready to make 2024? This is true, Lana says. Yeah. Are we really ready to make 2024 and beyond this point one of the best things that has happened to our life? Sandy says, I'm so ready. I know you guys are. Again, remember yesterday I said there was over 200 people that joined, and there's only a few of you here today on Saturday morning with me. Each and every one of you are ready for this. Harley says, absolutely ready. And so yesterday I shared some great things with you guys on how people walk away after working with me one-on-one, right? So when you and I work one-on-one, right? If I'm working one-on-one with Sandy, we would go through each of the areas of her life. We'd go through starting with career, right? That's the first thing that's come up for her. And we would really recognize, really diving in, right? I have the capability to really finally, okay, what is going on in Sandy's subconscious mind, right? Using the methods and techniques that I am certified in, using the prompts and things that I have experience with to bring and reveal what is going on in Sandy's subconscious, that Sandy gets so clear, like, oh my God, this is who I am right now. We get so clear on the version of Sandy that already has the HR practitioner job We clearly identify these gaps. Oh, this is the limiting beliefs you're carrying. These are the feelings you're dominantly feeling right now. This is where you are on the frequency scale. This is how your thoughts are impacting you. This is how your childhood is making you believe this certain thing right now. These are the values in your subconscious that don't align with you. This is your current self identity that doesn't match the identity of who you want to become. And then throughout the next 90 days together, right? We begin to make these changes together. We begin to do changes. We begin to do whatever it is that aligns to your unique story. Again, every single person that has gone through Mindfully Accelerate with me, which is my 90-day program, it's all individualized to you. Like if I were to do case studies for each of these clients, you will see that each of them walk through my same 6-step method framework, my Mindfully Accelerate framework, but it was different for each and every one person. Why? Because it's so personalized to you, right? It's not a one size fits all. Yes, the framework is the same, but we go through different things differently, right? For my client Maria, she loved hypnotherapy, and for 90 days straight, anything that we did, it would involve that. Another client like Anika, who I'm working with now, we try out every single thing she's so interested in, and it works for the different areas of her life, right? We've done EFT to help boost her confidence, but we did hypnotherapy to release this low self-esteem and her inability to feel worthy because she continuously looks outside of her for the need for validation, right? An example with this client that I'm working with, right? Her need for validation rooted from her absence of her father when she was a child. These things are revealed and come to surface when we work directly with your subconscious mind. And so these are the things that are going to happen together in Mindfully Accelerate, right? So if you're really, 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 really ready for 2024 and beyond, to be the years where you're finally in a place where you no longer spiral back to this doubt, this anxiety, is this going to work out for me? Instead, you walk into these interviews like I did with Columbia. Instead, you walk into life like I did at Columbia, knowing that I get to be fully me and I get to show up as me, knowing wholeheartedly and trusting wholeheartedly that everything that's meant for my highest good will always be for me. Imagine how much easier life would be, right? Just take a moment to really think about this. If you woke up tomorrow and every single day feeling so peaceful in your heart, feeling so grateful for every single thing that you have in your life, feeling so at peace here in the now, so grounded and connected to the present moment where you're not stuck in the past on things that happened before, or you're not so anxious and worried about the future, you're here in the now. How would that feel? Right? Tell me in the chat, how would that feel if you wake up tomorrow and you're like, I have everything I've ever wanted. I feel so good in my own skin. I get to show up confident and radiant. Amazing, Sandy says. Lana says it just clicked for me. I think I focus on the outcomes to feel the way my future self would feel. I have not been able to bridge that. I can feel relaxed right now, even though I wanted to hear back from XYZ. I take aligned action, but to feel my future state, I look for confirmation. Yeah, so you're still looking for that external validation. So for you, Lana, one of the big things would also be, let me release this need for validation. All right. Continue typing in the chat. Give me one moment, guys. Harley says it would be such a relief and so amazing. Right? If you wake up tomorrow, but now I want you to take this not only into tomorrow, into every day of 2024 and beyond. Waking up feeling so good. Like today I woke up and like yesterday when I decided at 10 p.m. where I was like, oh my God, let me just give everybody an encore and do this free bonus Q&A. I woke up lit up this morning. But I feel this way all the time with the work that I do, right? Because I'm doing what I love. And so in all the other areas of my life, I also play this same, right? I'm the driver of this, right? I need you guys to take the wheel of your life. So many of us have released this wheel and given it up to everybody else, right? We gave it away to our parents, we gave it away to society, we gave it away to the colleges, the teachers, the professors, we gave it away to these people that are interviewing us for these jobs that we want so badly. We've given it away to those men that we want to date, the women that we want to date, whatever we want to date. We've given away this wheel of life and this control to everyone and everything else when this life is ours to live. When you take that wheel back and you're like, you know what? Now I'm in the driver's seat. I no longer want to be in the passenger seat of my life. That's when everything changes. Lana says I would feel peaceful. Carly says I would be such a relief and so amazing. Yeah. So think about carrying this into 2024. So in the last couple of minutes here, I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes here to really just talk about how Mindfully Accelerate really helps you get to what you guys are here looking for. You know you deserve better and you are worthy for more. Everything that you guys written down in the chat today, all the things that you guys have been talking about in the last 3 days on what you're manifesting, on what you're attracting, all the things you wrote down when you actually signed up for this and you answered those questions on these are the 3 things I want to manifest. These are the 3 things that are blocking me. Now is the time for you to actually put in the work, right? If you take all of these things and you're just like, you know what, I get it, but I'm just gonna stay stuck in these patterns. Oh, I understand everything Sumaya is saying. I went through this challenge. I did all this, but I'm just gonna continue spiraling into doubt. I'm just gonna continue staying stuck in these patterns. I'm gonna continue interviewing for these jobs and feeling anxious about it for as long until I hear back from them. I'm gonna, really ask yourself, am I here to put in this work to finally get the life that I want? Am I here to claim my throne? Am I here to move from the passenger seat of my life to finally being in the driver's seat? Sandy says, so true. I still want my mother's validation, and so I make decisions that she will accept to please her. You see? Again, honestly, I love all of you guys for being so vulnerable and actually having these breakthroughs here as we're going through this conversation. Sunny, that's going to be another thing that you pay attention to as you go through 2024 and beyond. You're going to pay attention every day when you're making decisions in your life. Am I doing this for me or just to make my mom happy? Am I living this life for me or to make everyone else happy? And the other thing I want to remind people, right? When I teach, okay, this one thing that I have found a difference between the Western and like the Eastern spirituality and mindfulness and everything. The way I see, and I've said this from day one, community is so important. I come from an immigrant family. I'm a first generation eldest daughter. Giving back to my mother, my father, my family, my siblings is super, super, super high on my priority list and things that I love. But I have learned to shift from a place where I was pouring so much into them that I forgot who I was. I switched from prioritizing them over myself. Why? Because when I was doing that, I was giving to everybody from a place of frustration, from a place of anger, from a place of stress. And then I realized this is not a healthy way to give. It's not good for me or even the ones that are receiving it on the other end. And so now when I shift where I'm like, okay, I need to make sure that I am pouring into myself first, that I am filling my own cup first, that I am raising my vibration first, that I am on my own pedestal first. Now I get to overflow and pour into everyone else so effortlessly and easily. And from a place of abundance where I'm like, I am already so full, I can now give to everyone that I love. I can now give and please the ones I want to please too, but without it being sacrificing my own mental health, without it being sacrificing my own wants and needs and desires. It makes, I remember working with, so again, I did work in hospitals for 7 to 8 years when I was still shooting for medical school and becoming a doctor. And during those times, I remember I worked with this one specific doctor, Dr. Miller. Loved her. I worked with her for a really long time in family medicine. And she used to, every Friday, she used to bring cookies for the entire office, like our entire section in the hospital, right? We worked at family medicine. So she used to bring it for our whole department every Friday, and we loved it. She used to make different cookies, snickerdoodle cookies, chocolate chip cookies, whatever. And so one day she was telling me, she's like, yeah, Samaya, growing up, I always wanted to be a baker. And I didn't become a baker because my dad really wanted me to be a doctor. Now, I loved Dr. Miller to death. She was a great practitioner. She was one of those doctors that would spend so much time in her patient rooms that we would always be running behind, but she would always be giving back. Like she was always so passionate and like really wanted to hear her patients out. She didn't want to rush into the next without listening to her first patient, which was great. But she struggled so much too, accepting that she was living in at that point, she was already a doctor for 5, 6 years. And she's been living this reality because her dad wanted her to be a doctor, and the whole time this girl really just wanted to go to become a baker. So as you make your decisions in life, I want you to ask yourself, am I doing this for me, or am I doing this to please everyone else around me? And then 5, 6 years down the line, I'm going to be sitting in my office like, I don't know if I really want this. I don't know if I ever even really did this for me. I don't really like this. I actually wanted to do something else. Get in the driver's seat of your life. Do it without the guilt. Do it without the sabotage. Do it without the doubt. Do it without the anxiety. Do it without the stress. And when those things come in, remind yourself of all the good things that still exist where you can shift to, right? Let me know if these things are landing. Let me know what's coming up for you as I share this. So these are the things that I'm really, really helping you personally do inside my 3-month mentorship in Mindfully Accelerate, right? I shared this with you all yesterday, and I really want to share it one more time because I feel like someone needs to hear this, and that's why we're here. In this program, right? I don't even want you to care about how long it is, whatever. This time with me is very, very sacred and personalized to you. We take an inventory of your entire life and who you are, and we get you aligned to what it is that you truly desire. Remember yesterday I shared with you guys that one client that wrote back to me 3 years later. She actually sent me some more clients from her own like life where she was like talking to her friends about me, whoever. Because again, the reason I'm using this specific, I used this one and I didn't share some like hundreds of other ones that I have is because again, I remember I told you guys where she came from. When she came to me in 2021, one of my first clients in Mindfully Accelerate, she had just survived from trying to end her life. She was at rock bottom when she found me. She found a video of me on TikTok, spoke to me, signed up for my program. We worked together. And at that point, it wasn't even 90 days. When I first started this program, it was only 6 weeks long. No, 5 weeks long. So she had 5 sessions with me back to back. And in 5 sessions with me, she changed her entire trajectory of her life. And at that point, I think she was 26 or 27 years old. She changed all of those things in 5 simple sessions with me in 5 weeks. And 3 years later, this is the message where she sent me, and she's like, I still have never, ever gotten as low as I was before, even through my worst times. So even after working with me in these 3 years, she probably had some difficult challenges arise in her life, like we all would, right? Life is still going to continue to life. And throughout that time, she still never got as low as she was before, right? Working with me helped her become into this place where she is putting an effort to be her healthiest in all areas of her life, mentally, physically, and spiritually. This is huge for me. For me to come, like me to be a part of this woman's life, work with her only for 5 sessions. Can you imagine? Just that's like 5 hours of her whole life, right? 5 hours, if we really want to calculate time. 5 weeks, 5 hours one-on-one with me. These are her results. Now, that has now evolved to 90 days. Why did I change this from 5 week session to 90 days? Because I started to realize a lot of clients started to come back to me, right? They would do that. They're like, I loved everything I did with you. I want to continue working with you. Can we do this again? So as I started to realize that, I'm like, you know what? Let me make these programs a little bit longer, right? The right duration of time where it's like you have enough time with me to really implement these things into your life. and I get to walk you through it. I get to be accountable. I hold you accountable throughout it, right? It's not like I say, hey, Lana, go release your self-doubt, do this. And then I'm like, I don't even care about what Lana's doing. No, I go back and I speak to Lana throughout the days, even when she's not having those sessions with me. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Update me. What did you do? How, like, I am with you in your back pocket all the time, even when we're not having those one-on-one sessions. And then you come back and we're in the next session and we're like, hey, what's going on? And then we do the next thing to release the next thing and align you to the next thing. So very personalized, very uniquely for your own stories, for your own things, right? I also shared this for Maria, another one of my clients. So Maria is actually one of them that repeated. So she was in my program twice. She did the whole thing. A month and two later, she's like, I really want to be in your world again. She came back. I actually was, this was her just in Christmas. She landed her dream job in Time magazine in London. She lost her job 2 weeks before Christmas. She DM'd me and she was like, I lost my job, whatever. And I was like freaking out for her. But then I was like, she'll be fine. And she was. Because after that message she sent me, that same message right after that was, I'm not even anxious about this. I actually didn't like that job. I wanted to leave my boss, XYZ, like all these things, reasons why she didn't like that job. And she's like, but what I'm worried about kind of right now is like, it's right before the holidays. Like, why did they have to let me go right now? But then she was like, you know what? It's okay. I've already been applying. I'm going to see how it goes. She kind of was like, I don't even know if I'm going to get interviewed during the holidays right now, but like, let's see. She went back into doing the things that she already knew works for her. Okay, how do I bring myself to a grounded state? For Maria, she loves going to the gym. So in these 2 weeks, she went to the gym. In these 2 weeks, she did things that make her feel good. She loves to go like the paint and sip night. I think she did one of those two in these 2 weeks. And then that Sunday, right before Christmas, Christmas was on Monday. On the 24th, she messages me this. Hey girl, hope you're doing really well, enjoying the holiday season. I just got a new job at Times. Not only did she get interviewed during the holiday season, she got the job. How do these things happen for people? Because they're able to dive deep into themselves, right? I help them dive so deep into themselves that they know themselves so well now that nothing outside of them, none of the external things, right? None of these challenges, adversities will ever allow them to spiral back to a place where they give up. So if you're in a place where you're like, I still give up sometimes, I still spiral into that doubt, I still feel stuck and stagnant, I still feel anxious sometimes. I'm still having a tough time letting go of the need for validation. I'm still having a tough time not pleasing my mother and my father and the people and the generations that come before me. I'm still having a tough time to understand what's going to make me really feel so good. Mindfully Accelerate is for you. In Mindfully Accelerate, again, now we're doing 90 days of one-on-one personalized support for me, 90 days of releasing your unique blocks and old identities. And the new thing that I'm adding starting January, this is something that I haven't had before, but again, I'm recognizing the importance of community. So I want to bring this new container in. Starting in January, everybody that's in the program, I will have weekly Q&As like this, where everybody that's in the program only will get to come into things like this. So not only do you get the one-on-one support from me, not only do you have me in your back pocket throughout the entire 3 months to text me anytime you want to say something, you will also have like-minded, soul-aligned, ambitious babes who are doing the exact same work with me in their unique life, in their unique stories, whatever. But you also get to be surrounded by these same ambitious babes, right? You'll also get to speak to them and be like, oh my God, I'm also feeling frustrated right now. What do you do? Like you'll get to share these experiences and know that you're not alone. The one thing when I was going through this journey, I was very alone. There was nobody around me that was doing the same thing. My friends weren't doing the same thing. My coworkers weren't doing the same thing. My siblings weren't doing, nobody around me was doing this work. I was doing it by myself. Nobody knew what the hell I was talking about when I was like, okay, this is how our mind works. This is how the subconscious mind works. I know why you're upset right now. This is how this is working. Nobody knew what the hell was going on. I was doing this by myself and it gets lonely sometimes. I so wish during that time that I had people like now when I find other coaches or other people that are doing this healing work, I get so excited where I'm like, oh my God, I get to meet another person that's doing this healing work and helping this universe and really helping human beings, I get so excited. I get so excited when I get to meet ambitious soul aligned babes. Because I'm like, oh my God, we understand what's going on. We can talk about this. We can work through this journey of life together. So you get all of that. We're gonna get this new group container starting January. The new cohort starts in January 22nd. And then you also get all the programs that I will be doing. So I always host master classes and workshops. Some of you guys might have been in some of them. But when you're in the program, in those 3 months, anything that I lead in those 3 months, so any master class, any workshop, whatever, you get free access to all of that, right? You being inside Mindfully Accelerate is like a free ticket to everything else that I do in those 3 months that you're in my program. So how is this sounding to you guys? Tell me what is coming up for you guys. Tell me any questions that you have while you have me here. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. I'm probably going to be on here for a little bit more to answer any questions that you guys really have about this, right? As I'm telling you guys this, is this something that you're like, I really want this, but I have this question right now? Now is the time for you to ask me this question. Right? Yesterday I also shared Jamie got in. We know this. We're celebrating Jamie. Jamie starts with me in January with the new cohort as well. These are all the things that you're getting right now, besides what you'll get in 2024. Right? I'm walking you through my proven 6-step Mindfully Accelerate framework to get to where you want to be, from where you are now to where you ideally deeply wish to be. You get personalized things to do week to week basis. I'm holding you accountable throughout the entire thing. We are releasing your specific subconscious and manifestation blocks through methods of neuro-linguistic programming, emotional freedom technique, time techniques, and or even hypnosis. We are setting your goals for 2024. Everyone that's starting with me in 2024 in January, we're setting you up for the entire year with specific goal setting sessions. And again, you're receiving everything else that's down here, right? And so most importantly, this is all about knowing exactly how to take actionable steps and having a game plan for your specific goals in life, right? You might go through my 3-day challenge and you're like, oh my God, I understand all this, but how do I apply it to my unique story, my unique problems, my unique childhood trauma, my unique background, culture, religion? How do I really do it for me? If that's the question you're asking, you need to be here, right? This is where we do it individualized for you. So again, yesterday I told you guys, so this program right now is 4,997. Some people pay in full, some people use payment plans, but for everybody here, I wanted to give the opportunity for you guys to really cultivate this energy of, I already went through this 3-day challenge and I'm really, really ready to have like personalized support from Sumaya and really make these shifts in my life. You can join for $400 a month. This is a 12-month plan. I never give 12 months plans because my program's only 3 months. So the biggest plan I actually ever gave, I think, was a 9-month payment plan. Most of my clients do the 3 or 6 months or they pay in full. But for everybody here, I'm giving a 12-month plan because I want this to be as possible for you guys, right? If there's any stagnant energy, like I want it to be like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to go like what Jamie did when she was in my DMs. She was in my DMs and she didn't even know that I was offering any gifts, right? Because remember, she jumped in my DMs on day 1 on Wednesday and she was like, hey, just did day 1. Absolutely loved it. I know I want XYG changes in my life in 2024. How can you help me? And I was lit up. I was like, oh my goodness, Jamie, where have you been? I love this. And then I told her, you know what? I was going to hold this secret till Friday. On Friday, I was going to announce a gift and give $500 off to anyone, the first person that signs up for my program. It looks like it's you. So here you are on Wednesday, day 1, $500 off. Jamie signed up. Right? She was afraid at first, where she was like, I don't know. This investment looks big, but I really want to invest. Tell me how I can do it. And I was like, all right, I got payment plans. And on top of that, I'm also going to give you $500 off. But then I was going to be like, you know what? I wasn't even going to talk about this afterwards, where I was going to be like, all right, everybody, if you want to join, this is what it is. I would love to have you. But I still wanted to give you guys an opportunity So this is still a very discounted price. And it gives you that leeway of doing it over 12 months. So any questions that is coming up for you guys right now, tell me anything, any thoughts, anything that you want to ask in regards to this program, in regards to any one-on-one access or anything to me, or even any unique questions right now as you have me for the next couple of moments here. I just really want you to walk away from this to really think about, okay, how can this individualized support and personalized support change the trajectory of my life in rapid speed? So again, the other thing I want you guys to also connect with, everything that I've taught you in these so much information and knowledge can be accessed for free. You can Google and find out like, how do I release myself? Like, you can do this, but nothing will be personalized to you until you receive that personalized support. I can look up right now, I can go on YouTube right now and say, give me a hypnotherapy audio for self-doubt. I want to release my self-doubt, whatever. I'm sure something will come up. And when something comes up, you can listen to it. It will probably be helpful, whatever. But it will not be unique to what's going on specifically in your subconscious mind. It'll not say, hey, Lana, you are doubting this because when you were 3 years old, this happened to you. So let's release this memory that's been holding you stuck. Let's actually forgive that memory that happened when you were 3 years old. And now let's shift your subconscious from feeling hurt about that to now feeling seen, to now feeling courageous, to now coming into a place of acceptance, to now really trusting your ability to attract what it is that you desire. Those things do not happen unless you have that personalized support. Okay. So I really hope these are things that are landing for you guys. And the last thing, I'm going to put my Instagram in the chat. So for all of you that this is hitting home for all of you that are ready for 2024 to be the year, to be your year where you're finally back in your driver's seat, DM me the word mentor, mentor. DM me the word mentor. Carly says, I have to run. Thank you so much for everything. You're so welcome, Carly. I'll speak to you soon. DM me the word mentor in my Instagram and we'll have a conversation and we'll see if this is the right fit for you. So on my Instagram, DM me the word mentor and I'll see if this is the right fit for you. And I'm so excited to have these conversations. And in the meantime, any questions, you're welcome, Lana. Anything that you guys have coming up, DM me, speak to me. The community is still available and open for you guys as well. Be sure to go into the community. You're so welcome, Sandy. I'm sending you all so much love and light. Reach out to me with any questions, and I will be chatting with a bunch of you in the chat, in my DMs. Make sure you message me the word mentor. All right, guys, I'm sending you all so much love. Have a beautiful weekend ahead. And I'm so excited for 2024 to be one of your best years yet. Bye, everyone. Bye. You're welcome. This was so helpful. You're welcome, Tamatha. All right, everyone. Sending you all so much love and light. Bye, Sandy.